So the other night, I was dreaming about Doppelgang, which I think is a completely normal thing that everyone does. And then it struck me, what if the problem with Doppelgang is we just weren't doppelganging enough? What if we could doppelgang every single turn for an increasingly big amount? So that's what we're going to try to do today. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Against the Odds. And this week, we are heading to Standard for the invasion of the Doppelgangs, and this deck is incredibly sweet. So let's talk about this deck, what it's trying to do, jump into some games, see the deck in action. So we are a Doppelgang deck, which means we got to start off by talking about our ramp, because Doppelgang needs a lot of mana. Because of its 3+ double X cost, there's a few sweet spots for Doppelgang, which is 8 mana for Doppelgang X2, 11 for Doppelgang X3, 14 for Doppelgang X4, and then if we get more than that, we're probably just going to win the game. So in the early game, we just want to ramp and ramp and ramp and ramp to try to get to 8 mana, 11 mana, 14 mana, and we really don't care how we're doing it. We just have a ton of different ramp spells, although some are especially important to the deck. Splunking Overlord of the Hauntwoods and Invasion of Zendikar, they're our best ramp spells because they're permanents that sit on the battlefield, so they can ramp us early, and then later in the game, we can copy them with Doppelgang for even more ramping. Splunking also absurd since it makes all of our lands come into play untapped, which leads to some huge, almost infinite Doppelgang turns in the late game. And then Virtuous Strength, just a one of, but if we triple all of our basic mana, we can get some really huge Doppelgangs. So early game, ramp and ramp and ramp and ramp. And why are we ramping? We're ramping because of Doppelgang. And hilariously, we only have one Doppelgang in our main deck. I'm sure you know what Doppelgang does. We've played it in the past. It just makes a million copies of permanents on the battlefield for a huge amount of mana. So why are we playing just a single Doppelgang? And the invasion here is we're really an Invasion of Arcavios deck. So Invasion of Arcavios, it's a battle that when it enters, we can tutor an instant or sorcery from our graveyard or library or our sideboard. So even though we only have one Doppelgang in our main deck, we have another one in our sideboard, so it's kind of like we have 6 Doppelgangs. And really, Invasion of Arcavios is key to the loop of our deck, because what we really want to do is make a ton of mana, play an Invasion of Arcavios to get the Doppelgang, then we can Doppelgang, copy the Invasion of Arcavios, copy some lands or some ramp spells to make even more mana, and then when we get the Invasion of Arcavios, when the copy enters, we can just return the Doppelgang from our graveyard to our hand. So the next turn we do it again with even more mana, copy Invasion of Arcavios, get back the Doppelgang, make a bunch more stuff, and eventually this just leads to us winning the game, either by overwhelming our opponent with value, or because we can literally tutor pretty much our entire sideboard, outside of 2 Ghost Vacuums, into our hand. So we can get World Soul Rage to just kill our opponent with all of our mana. Finale of Revelation can draw a ton of cards. Time Stop, if we don't have enough mana to win right away, we can like Invasion of Arcavios, do the Doppelgang stuff, get the Time Stop to skip our opponent's turn, and then during the next turn gets an even bigger Doppelgang. Then we get a bunch of removal and sweepers, River Rebuke, Fade from History, Cease to Assist to deal with artifacts and enchantments, some negates to protect our combo. So that's the real goal of the deck. Play an Invasion of Arcavios, get the Doppelgang. At this point, we just Doppelgang the Invasion of Arcavios and other stuff to keep getting back the Doppelgang, and this lets us cast Doppelgang every single turn until we win the game. Otherwise, Stock Up is just kind of a busted card draw spell to find our pieces, a bunch of removal in the main deck. Mana base, we do have some deserts in the deck, which are really powerful, not just because they make extra mana like Arid Archway, but because they give us this surveil engine. So because we have so many ramp spells in our deck, the one big risk in our deck is we just don't find our action pieces. We don't find the Invasion, we don't find the Doppelgang, we don't find the Stock Up to find our other stuff. But with Conduit of Pylons and Arid Archway, we just get to keep surveilling pretty much every turn. So we'll find our stuff eventually. Plus we get to play Lush Oasis, which gives us a backup win con. We can do like this Simic Burn thing and just copy Lush Oasis a bunch of times if we need to win that way. And that is Invasion of the Doppelgangs. And I gotta say, I'm pretty sure this is the most spectacular Doppelgang yet. So let's jump into some games, see the deck in action. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Want to help out the channel? Well, you can snag these super sweet new dice, playmats, tokens, and more over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. Against odds time. We are finding out if the problem with Doppelgangs is we just needed even more Doppelgangs, infinite Doppelgangs, and I think we want to play first. Oh man, I love Doppelgang. Card of the year from last year. That sounds fine. It ramps and it even gets to kill some things. Normally our hands just ramp, so having some removal, not a bad little bonus. What are you up to, opponent? Can you stop our doppelganging? The idea of this, so the idea of this deck, I actually played against someone who had doppelgang Invasion of Arcavios, and it looked really cool. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to build a deck like that because I like doppelganging, and this lets me doppelgang every turn, sometimes a bunch of times in a turn. Well, we don't really want the Wrath here. We already have enough mana. Oh boy. All right. Well, starting off with the big baddie. How do we do against a self-bounce deck, presumably? Well, Force go. Next turn, we can start our ramping. All right, so looks like Esper self-bounce, presumably. Their deck's good. Our deck has got Doppelgang, which I guess means it's good. Well, I guess it's time to impend an Overlord of the Hallwoods. Please don't counter it. I mean, if they're Esper self-bounce, they shouldn't have counters, right? Not in the main. Well, Overlord. Make an everywhere land. So, I mean, since we're doppelganging, there's some sweet spots mana-wise, which is 8 mana, doppelgang x2, 11 mana x3, 14 x4. Once we get up to that point, that's when we probably should just win the game with doppelgangs in one way or another. Opponent, land. So that's goal number 1. Really 11. 11 is kind of the sweet spot. We want to get to 11 mana. 8, we can still do some things with 8, and that's part of the upside of Invasion of Arcavios. Yeah, let's just Invasion of Zendikar here. We could have run out the Overlord, but we already have an Overlord. This double ramps, and it's really good in this deck because we have a lot of basics. So if we find a doppelgang, copying it's pretty legit. Also, because Glimpse Core gets basic for us, usually with like Invasion, we want to grab islands and plains, so we have lands for our Glimpse to get eventually. Yeah, all right, well, can never have too much mana with this deck. Opponent thinking about cracking that Hopeless Nightmare, and we will unimpend a bit. Ship the turn. Opponent land. Momentum break. Well, I guess we just pitched the get lost at this point. We might be able to tutor some mass enchantment removal out of our sideboard at some point with Invasion. Well, all right, let's keep on ramping. Map the frontier. Grab a Arid Archway. Conduit Pylons, do a little surveilling. So we're really looking for Invasion of Arcavios. Stock up's also fine. I think we don't need Overlord 3 somehow. Pick up a Conduit Pylons. Do a little. All right. Well, there's Invasion of Arcavios. And Pet the Overlord. All right. So where's our mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The challenging part is discard. Oh, opponent. Well, okay. We're going to do some discarding. Yeah, let's replay Conduit Pylons. Keep the Invasion. So the challenge we're going to run into here is all this discard. If we just tutor up a Doppelgang from our sideboard, we're going to have to discard it. So maybe we got to do something. Maybe we got to get some card draw, maybe? That might be our best bet. Grab like... Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We definitely got to play it, because if we don't play it, then we're going to discard the Invasion. And we want it on the battlefield for future Doppelgangs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we can't really... We don't have enough mana yet to Invasion and Doppelgang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left over. Well, let's Invasion of Arcavios. I think we probably just Finale X3. That gives us some extra cards. Like, Finale is even better if we have more mana and we can just, like, refill our hand. But we're in this weird spot because of the discard, where anything we get, we're just going to have to discard. So the only thing that really does anything, I guess Negate would kind of do something. We could try to just blow up enchantments. I kind of hate wasting Finale Revelation just to draw 3 cards. But I'm not sure what else we can do, because we know there's that Hopeless Nightmare in hand. So I think that's, yeah, our only option. So in... Finale of Revelation. Draw 3 cards. This just gives us a little Hopeless Nightmare buffer. And gets 3 lands out of the way. All right. Well. Okay. Not exactly how we drew it up, but discard. We will get these Overlords eventually. They will unimpend. They're getting there. All right. There's Overlord number 1. About it. Momentum break. Gets rid of the Overlord. Sure, stock up would be so nice, just to find some stuff. There's a Hopeless Nightmare. You know what would be even better? We only have 1 Doppelgang in the main. 1 in the main, 1 in the sideboard to find, because the plan is just to find it with Invasion of Arcavios. A Doppelgang would be a draw, though. This would be This would be a Doppelgang turn. I mean, they could have a counter. It seems unlikely, though. Opponent. Fear of. All right. Opponent stepped out. Big draw. Or an aired archway. Well, play the archway. Pick up the conduit pylons. There's a stock up. Okay, that's good. That's good. That'll find us something for next turn, maybe. We know they need momentum break, but they might. Yeah, okay, they're going to momentum. I wasn't sure if they're going to hold it to get rid of the future overlord, but we'll discard the Lush Oasis. The crime land we don't really need. Well, all right, opponent's just going to strip our hand. The crime land we don't really need until the late game, and we really don't even have to have it to win. Usually we win by tutoring from our sideboard, but it is a nice backup plan to copy the desert a bunch of times. Opponent hits us, down to 14. Preacher of the Schism. Well, let's stock it up, see what we can see. Hopefully a Doppelgang. Well, Splunking is good, and then I guess Get Lost to not be dying. Let's Surveil first. Invasion of Arcavos. Oh, there's still that momentum break. We do turn on the Overlord. Can we tutor up a Doppelgang here is the question. Or do we just, maybe we just wait? The Invasion's pretty safe on the top of our deck. We don't have enough mana to Invasion and Doppelgang this turn. Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. We'll probably kill the Preacher maybe to keep them from, there's a momentum break, to keep them from drawing cards. I mean, we're still at 10. Opponent's on a 1 card in hand. Oh, I forgot about the Reef. Okay, well now maybe we kill the Reef because I really want to draw this Invasion of Arcavos. We need the Invasion. We have 14 mana, so we can, opponent draws a card, so we can Invasion of Arcavos, Doppelgang X2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can we Splunking? Nah, we can't Splunking. All right, let's, I guess we just Invasion for mini Doppelgang. So Invasion of Arcavos. Search our sideboard. Oh, we could take a Sweeper. Like, we could just split up the board, but then we don't really have anything going on. We can survive another turn, right? Maybe. I guess we can Doppelgang a blocker, too, if we have to. All right, so we get the Doppelgang. Doppelgang X2. Copy the Invasion. Oh, let's just copy the momentum break. That's even better. So we get 2 Invasion of Arcavioses. First one gets back to Doppelgang. Always get back to Doppelgang. That's the whole goal of the deck. And now we get to get something else from our sideboard, which... let's take... So many good options. Let's take the Fade from History to get rid of the enchantments. Opponent's got to sack 2, so they still get the Preacher. But that's kind of fine. Now we have the Doppelgang back in hand. Next Doppelgang. Oh boy. It's going to be a good one. And that's the goal that eventually we just tutor our entire sideboard. Found it. Gonna crack the map and hit some land. I imagine they would have rather hit damage there given the option. Opponent. Gonna crack the map. And it's another land. All right, opponent. Getting in. Hitting us. Drawing a card with the Preacher. Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-bum-bum. It's also kind of cute that, Wait, can we... Oh, Kaido. Wait, can we win by copying Hopeless Nightmares? That would be a very fitting way to end as per self-mounts. If we can just Hopeless Nightmare them to death with their own Hopeless Nightmares. It seems possible. Oh, next turn, just tap out. So we don't even have to worry about a counter. The next turn's going to be spectacular. All right, Storm Chaser's Silent. That is fine. Opponent got us down to 5, but now the fun happens. So, we're going to play... Let's see. Let's tap some mana. Let's play the Splunking first. Even though it costs us mana in the long run, it's going to generate way more mana. So put the land into play. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, so Doppelgang for 3, and we will Doppelgang Invasion, and Splunking. So now all of our lands come into play untapped. We get 3 Invasions out of cards, so we get 6 basics out of our deck. Oh, this is where the deck feels so sweet. Grab a couple forests. Grab a Forest into Plains. Invasion. Step 1. Doppelgang from the graveyard. of course. Now we get to go to the sideboard. We'll take a time stop to put an end to our opponent's next turn. So I think we just develop our mana, we time stop so our opponent can't do anything next turn, and then the following turn, we put an end. We put an end to this. Lashuays is paying ya. Increase our speed. Put the Blast Zone into play. Put the Conduit Pylon. We have a lot of mana. Conduit Pylons into play. Mill them at the frontier. Well, now, how much mana do we have? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, let's just time stop. We can time stop, and then we can cast a ungodly big Doppelgang next turn. So pass the turn. Stop on our opponent's upkeep. Upkeep. We would like to stop your time, opponent. Oh, being able to tutor up the time stop is actually so powerful because it essentially lets us untap all of our mana, right? To cast an even bigger Doppelgang the next turn. Bound it. Wow, gonna cash in a momentum break. Ain't a little. I don't think your life total is a problem here, about it. I don't think the issue you're having is that your life total is not high enough. I think there may be another problem. We had to stock up. All right, well, let's cast a really big Doppelgang. Let's Doppelgang for 5. So we're going to copy Invasion of Arcavos, Momentum Break, Hopeless Nightmare. Actually, maybe not Momentum Break. Let's copy our Momentum Break. Copy the Bounce Land. Copy the Crime Land. All right, 5 of each. So now, paying you for 5 with a Lush Oasis. We're going to beat our opponent with their own Hopeless Nightmares. Invasion of Arcavos, X5, step 1, Doppelgang, coming back. And now we just essentially tutor our entire sideboard. Let's take a negate just in case, and maybe another negate just in case, and cease desist, maybe. I don't know, we gotta take something. Paw Patch Formation. We could get the World Soul Rage, but we could also sack all these momentum breaks and gain like 20 life or something. I was doing so small. This is working. It's working. Against the best deck in Standard. About it. Discarding their hand, taking a little bit of damage. Yeah, hand is emptied. Well, we will start picking up some tap lands. I think we can win right now, right? We just Doppelgang again to copy even more Hopeless Nightmares. Well, pick up the land. And with the 1 Virtue of Strength, I don't think we're going to need it because I think we're just going to win right this second. But yeah, let's float our mana. Let's Doppelgang X5 again. We have 8. This is 2 Doppelgangs. Actually, we don't even need X5. Let's just copy these Hopeless Nightmares. Let's just copy these Hopeless Nightmares a few times. About it. How do you like it when you're on the receiving end? Try to Hopeless Nightmare us, will ya? One of the other upsides of this deck is you don't got to sideboard much because we're tutoring our sideboard anyway. We will bring in a little bit more enchantment removal. We can trim a stock up, trim a map the frontiers, and probably the Virtue is just going to get bounced into try it like that. On to game number 2. Can we actually really take down the best deck in Standard, the most annoying deck in Standard, kind of with their own cards, just by Doppelganging them a bunch? That's the goal, that's the hope. Opponent's going to be on the play. This hand, yeah, looks pretty great. Ramp into ramp and cease desist. It's a lot of mana, but our deck makes a lot of mana. But it can be a blowout against self-bounce. Ooh, Blast Zone. Blast Zone's actually, the reason that Blast Zone is in our deck is primarily the self-bounce decks. After sideboarding, seems likely that our opponent will have more counters in their deck. Probably Duresses. All right, opponent passes with Splunking. Let's just play a forest and glimpse core. Grab another forest. I do like these lands about it, and they actually replace my old border lands as my default lands on Arena. Opponent's gonna stock up. Everyone's stocking up. Well, opponent gonna grab a couple cards. The good news for us is this means our opponent's kind of tapped out. So we can play Blast Zone and Invasion of Zendikar. Gonna do a little rampant. Grab a Plains and an Island. So no double white yet, but for playing so many basics in this deck, our mana actually works out super well. That's the upside of all this ramp. Very good at finding. We have like 3 white sources in the deck, but we're very good at finding them. What are we doing over there? Self-bounce. Overlord of the Baelmer, okay. Kaido. All right, Kaido is annoying. We do have a get lost. Wrath, not the most exciting. I don't really want to cease desist just to blow up an overlord. I feel like we can get more value out of it in the future. So I think we just play a Splunking, draw a card. Well, negate, if they actually just hardcast, if they hardcast the Kaido, we could just counter it. Well, play the Archway, pick up the island, and pass turn. We're doing a good job of developing our mana. Like, we've doubled our opponent's mana already, which is where we want to be. We're already up to 8, which is sweet spot number 1. Opponent, yep. Fear Isolation. Sweet spot number 1 for Doppelgang. Doppelgang X2. 11's the next stop. Storm Chaser's talent. Oh, is this enough to cease desist? We're still at 20. We're not under that much pressure. Do we want to tick up Blast Zone or do anything? Yeah, let's just untap here. I still feel like this is not a lot of value for the cease desist. We could do it and blow up a couple things, but our opponent's still got a bunch of cards in hand. They can still put the Kaido into play. We know there's the Overlord. I kind of want more value than that. But what else are we doing this turn? Yeah. I mean, I guess we're not under that much pressure. I guess we can just play the George O'Keefe Island and pass the turn. I only know who George O'Keefe is because of Breaking Bad, by the way. I'm the Jesse. Pound it. Kaido time. I mean, this Kaido's fine. They ninjutsu it in, pick up the FOMO, or Fear of Isolation. Wow, all right. Gonna pick up the token, get a little more damage. This is kind of fine, though, because we do have the get lost, so we know we can answer the Kaido, so we're not just going to lose to Kaido. We do got to wait to our turn, unfortunately, because I'm hexproof, but more lands. Well, kind of a pylon. We are playing ooh, yeah, I think we mill the second one. We really want card draw, Invasion Arcavos, stock up. We're looking for that kind of stuff now. We really want one Invasion of Zendikar on the battlefield, because it's really good to copy with our Doppelgangs, but yeah, we got to snipe this Kaido. We have these two sweepers, but our opponent's actually doing a very good job playing around them. Like, they have cards in hand. We know they do. Even we know there's Overlord. It was on the battlefield before, but our opponent's doing a really good job of not playing into potential sweepers, even though they haven't seen the sweepers. We got another Kaido. Oh, all right. That's a little more awkward. Well, now we might have to Blast Zone the Kaido. Kaido is a card that we can't really let sit on the battlefield. Like, it will eventually generate enough value that they'll find counters, they'll find thought seizes or duresses, and eventually be able to stop us from doing our thing. So I think it's worth sacking a land to kill the Kaido. We also lose our Invasion of Zendikar. Yeah, I think we gotta do it. Going down a land's never exciting because our deck wants as many lands as possible, but we can't just let our opponent draw 2 cards every turn. Like, that's too much value. Well, take up the Blast Zone. Blast Zone's actually felt sneaky good so far. It is not here to kill Kaido, but we are not above killing a Kaido with a Blast Zone. Another land. Well, let's sack the Blast Zone. Blow up the Kaido. Blow up our Invasion, unfortunately. Tidebinder? That would be annoying. How do you stop a Blast Zone? It's pretty much just Tidebinder, I think. That's realistic. Oh, this town, yeah. Well, I think this is enough to spend the negate. I really am scared of the Kaido. Well, Kaido down, play the land, ship the turn. I know it looks like we're not doing much, but if we draw a single card, all of a sudden, we're going to do a lot. That's kind of how this deck works. Just like, bide your time, do your surveillance, stay alive, and then have that huge, like, you're never coming back from this turn. Bound it. Fires up the creature line. Gonna get in. Hit us. I guess we could also give up on blowing up enchantments with the cease desist and just like cycle it, gain some life, get rid of this town maybe that our opponent eventually is going to try to get back with the Storm Chaser's talent. That might be worth trying to figure out if they want to leave their mana up. Our opponent's going to leave their mana up. Well, we will actually just cease here. Get rid of this town and I guess snag a stock up. If they want to counter it, sure, like that's acceptable. All right. Well, that works. We draw Another seductive. Ooh, okay. Seductive Island, more importantly, stock up, though. Now, let's stock up. See if we can stock our way into Invasion of Arcavios or Doppelgang. The one Doppelgang in the main. Stock up's so good. Huh. Well, there's the Doppelgang. All right. Not going to complain about that one. They could have Negate, though. Yeah, I'm not sure if Invasion or Overlord's actually better here. We're going to take the Overlord. We've already gotten a lot of basics out of our deck. So I think the Overlord's probably going to be better for Doppelganging here. Also nice that, unlike when we get Doppelgang with Invasion, if we find the one in our deck, our opponent doesn't know about it. Yeah, let's play the R-rated island and full price the Overlord. We can pay for like a No More Lies if our opponent happens to have that for some reason. I mean, I'm sure they can kill this, but we get another land and our mana situation is not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all until 13, 14? I mean, ooh, I don't know if we will go for it unless our opponent taps down. But we can technically Doppelgang X4 next turn, which, if we can resolve Doppelgang X4, we should win the game. Found it. Flares up Anchorage. Like, we don't have anything in immediate. There's no Hopeless Nightmares. I wonder, did our opponent, did they sideboard out all their Hopeless Nightmares? We haven't seen a Hopeless Nightmare or a Momentum Break. Oh, Kaido number oh my, that's fine, sure. Kaido number 3, very good, but this means our opponent's fully tapped out. We have the Doppelgang in hand, and we have enough mana to have a bit of a turn, to have a little bit of a turn. All right, map the frontier. So, 1, 2, 3. So we can map the frontier. I kind of like this. We can map the frontier to get some surveils. Oh, there's Invasion. And now we're going to copy this this Splunking so we can draw what we surveil into, play the land, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now we get to Doppelgang for 3. So we'll copy Splunking, Storm Chaser's Talent for some blockers, and Arid Archway. Arid Archway is a really good copy when we have Splunkings going to, because now we get to pick up lands and just put them back into play. So pick up an island. Pick up, no sense in surveilling here since we're keeping the Invasion of Arcavios anyway. So there's the Invasion. Put the Kind of a Pylons back into play. This sort of lets us untap our lands in a weird way. Mill the desert. Draw land. Well, island back. And island back. 1, 2, 3, 4... Let's level up. This actually works out great because now we can level up the Storm Chaser's Talent, get back the Get Lost the Kaido. Our opponent's enchantments have been great for us. And then I guess we level up another one just to get back a negate for next turn. And then next turn, Invasion, get back Doppelgang with negate back up. And once we start Doppelganging Invasion, the game should end pretty quickly. Yeah, we have a lot of Storm Chasers talents. You have a lot of maps. You do have a lot of maps. I'll give you, you're beating us on the map axis. I think we're, well, technically life total too. Pest control, eh? Well, so much for the map axis. Opponent pest controls. I do not understand their sideboard plan. It seems like they took out their Hopeless Nightmares and brought in pest controls. But what are they pest controlling against our deck? Do they bring in pest control to answer their own cards that we doppelgang? Because we don't have any 1 mana permanents. Just tap out again, opponent. It'll be fine. I wouldn't worry about it. Nothing ever. Okay, opponent is going to destroy evil, one of our 4 Splunkings. Well. Can we win the game this turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Invasion of Arcavios. Go to our sideboard, and we might be able to win with World Soul's Rage, but I'm not going to pass up an opportunity to do some dopping. So 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, and opponent doesn't even wait to see the glory, and, well, that was pretty sweet. We actually beat Dimir Self-Bouts by copying their Hopeless Nightmares. All right. I mean, this ends kind of great. Ramp, Invasion of Arcavios to get the Doppelgang. Oh, I love Invasion of Arcavios. Changes everything in this deck. It really, I don't know, I actually am kind of jealous that I didn't think of this first, and that someone, one of our dear opponents actually did it to me first. Copied Invasion of Arcavos with Doppelgang. About it. Temple of Silence. Going to scry to the bottom. Well, Lush Oasis. Pangya down at 19. It's such a cool synergy, though. Opponent swap. What is our opponent up to? Well, play the land. Glimpse the core. Snag a forest. And pass turn. Next turn, we can, like, Splunking Glimpse the core. Ooh, another Overlord. Well, yeah, I think we gotta play a land first. Let's play the island. 1, 2, 3. Splunking. Let's put the plains into play because we're gonna shuffle our library anyway with a Glimpse of Core. So we can save our Surveil for next turn. Glimpse, grab a forest. All right, well, 1, 2, 3, 6 mana, 7 in hand. Opponent's at 3. It kind of feels like cheating to have twice as much mana as your opponent. It really does. Obliterator, eh? Yeah, all right. Good time to draw Get Lost. Well, let's play the Conduit Violence. Might as well keep the land. So if we're going to play this Overlord as a creature, which we are going to do, it does mean we have to kill the Obliterator. If I see an Obliterator, I'm going to have the fear that they're going to have a fight spell and just blow us out. So I think we gotta just do it if we're going to play a creature. All right, Dozen, what do you got? Plains. They're not even in fight spell colors, but they could. So many momentum breaks. People love their momentum breaks. Overlord down and Overlord on the battlefield. Bailmerk for our opponent. Does some milling and Lauren. That can blow up our Splunking. Well, there's the forest. Let's play the Arcavos. I think the time has come. The time has come, my friend, to tutor up Doppelgangs and things. And yeah, we'll do some actually, do we? I'm worried about discard. I think we actually just pass. So we were going to Doppelgang X8 next turn anyway. We're not going to get to 11 next turn. So I think we might as well just make sure we don't get, like, momentum broken out of casting Doppelgang. Because if we cast this Doppelgang, it's going to be really good. About it. Gonna crack the map. Ooh, Zer. Oh, Zer. Okay, that's... Well, okay. So what we can do... Doppelgang's so good. So we can Doppelgang the Invasion of Arcavos to get more Doppelgangs, get something from the sideboard, and then we can copy the Lauren to blow up the enchantments, which is a pretty good way to minimize the impact of Zer. Zer with no enchantments, not nearly as scary as Zer with a board full of enchantments. So Doppelgang X2. Copy the invasion, copy the Lauren. About it. Nowhere to... That doesn't work. I think our opponent wanted to know where to run their own Lauren, but it only hits your opponent's creatures. So blow up the Overlord of the Bailmerk, blow up the momentum break, Invasion of Arcavos, get back to Doppelgang for next turn, and let's go to our sideboard and snag a River's Rebuke. Just in case our opponent pops off with Zer somehow. We have a reset button. Things are looking up. So next turn we can Doppelgang for what, 2 again? I mean, this is a loop though, right? Like we just Doppelgang for an increasing amount every turn, as we also tutor our entire sideboard into our hand. Opponent gonna get a Sarah Paragon, sure, and momentum break to get rid of the Lauren. Sure. All of that is perfectly fine. Gonna get in with Lauren. Hit us. Down to 17. Opponent's going aggro over there. Going aggro. Yeah, you're doing it about it. You're killing us. We're below 20. All right. Cracks the map, finds a land. Well, you know what? Let's do a little doppelganging. I think we'll copy an Invasion of Arcavos and maybe this momentum break. I feel like this deck is actually like oddly well situated because everyone's playing these stupid momentum breaks and we just copy them and wrath their own board. Like, you're doing this to yourself. We're just trying to tutor our sideboard into our hand. Like, we don't have things like this to kill your creatures. Well, get back to Doppelgang with invasion number 1. Go to our sideboard, and I think we'll snag a... Yeah, let's get the finale. If we're still playing next turn, we can just draw a new hand, get no max hand size. Bang ya. Down to 18. Well, the question now is, does our opponent actually let us play it out? Do they actually let us play it out, or do they just scoop it up because they know it's coming? it's an opponent gives us the GGs. Wow. Usually I'm very scared of Zur, but we just doppelganged our way out of it. Doppelganged away the enchantments. I don't know if we really changed much of anything. We bring in like a split up, I guess. The paw patch. So we want to look for stuff that we don't normally want to tutor up. Like usually paw patch is not a high in our list of tutor from our sideboard targets. So those things we can bring in. The stuff that we tutor from our sideboard a lot, we typically don't want to sideboard in because we're more likely to find it from our sideboard, oddly. All right, on to game number 2. We're going to be on the draw. Infinite Doppelgangs versus Orzhov mid-range? Yeah, sounds fine. Mana base a little weird looking, but Invasion of Zendikar should salve that issue. We do have a lot of colorless lands this hand. Opponent grabs a swamp with the Fabled Passage. Well, Conduit Pylons. Gotta keep the Invasion. It's a ways away from being good, but it is also our most important card. Opponent, Overlord of the Battlemerc. Gonna do a little milling and Ukaya. Okay. Well, that's a long ways away, but that is a card that I'm scared of should we get to that point. And Momentum Break. Sure. We will discard the Blast Zone. Even though the Blast Zone, it might be good in this matchup. They do have, like, random enchantments. Splunking's actually about our best draw here. Let's play the Splunking. Draw a card. Put the Arid Archwing into play. Pick up the Conduit Pylons. Do a little Surveillance. Do we want even more glimpses? Probably not. We already have one. Opponent, Swamp. Overlord of the Mist Moa. I'm gonna make a couple dorks. Well, we draw a Forest. I think let's glimpse the core. Grab a Forest. We actually don't have mana. We can just double ramp here. And then Invasion of Zendikar. Ramp again. Grab a island and I guess double suggestive island's fine. About it. Momentum Break. Sure. We're just going to pitch the Get Lost. I don't think we're going to need the Get Lost. I think we're just going over the top pretty much. Pound it. Scryland. So we have what? 8 mana? 9 mana? And Bandit's Talent. Well, I guess we got to discard Stock Up, sadly. That discard is annoying. So opponent's actually kind of a discard deck, I guess. If you're playing Bandit's Talent, you're like kind of a discard deck. Yeah. There's some argument to keep the Stock Up maybe, but Invasion of Archivos could always just get a Stock Up if we really want to stock up. Well, opponent gonna unimpend. I think we're probably just gonna get the Doppelgang. Arid Archway, gonna go to the graveyard. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, I mean, I think it's Doppelgang. We gotta hope we dodge discard. We could also just grab a way to blow up all. We grab Feed from History and just blow up everything except the 2 flyers. But then we lose our it's so hard to pass up Doppelgang, though. The risk is if they have, like, double Momentum Break or something. But I think we really want the Doppelgang to start the loop. We're going to hold on, and sadly, we would like to play this Invasion of Zendikar to ramp into even bigger Doppelgangs. The problem is we can't just hold Doppelgang as our only card. It's too risky against Momentum Break. Opponent hits us down to 12. Speed up to 3. And all right, well, I'm glad we held on to the Invasion because we would have lost the Doppelgang. But now that we got the Doppelgang, I think we're okay. So discard the Invasion. We can't go X3, right? 4, 9. Yeah, we can go X2. About it. Unimpends, gets the Overlord. We take some damage. Well, yeah, Doppelgang. Copy Invasion, and let's go White Overlord just to make some blockers. We are getting a little low on life, so 2 Invasions, 2 Overlord of the Mistmoors. So this means we should stop taking damage this turn, and then we just have to, I think we can beat the Kaya, right? So we make a bunch of bodies. Invasion. Graveyard. Doppelgang. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Get back to Doppelgang. And then sideboard. Yeah, let's take the Rivers Rebuke. That seems like it could be good here. It's a little awkward that they get to replay all their momentum breaks and so forth, but it also is pretty much like we're not going to die for a bit if we Rivers Rebuke. We might not even have to, though. Like, we might just keep doppelganging at this point. I'm not sure if they can realistically, like, they're Orzhov. They don't have counter spells. Okay. Oh, opponent. I don't know if you want to play that Hopeless Nightmare. We've seen this before. Some opponents have regretted playing Hopeless Nightmares against us. I'm just saying. I mean, this is just like an unbeatable value loop, opponent. And gets their Overlord. So what's our Doppelgang plan this turn? So we could just bounce all their stuff. That just doesn't sound as fun, though. I think it sounds like it's more fun to cast another Doppelgang. I think maybe Doppelganging is more enjoyable than Rivers Rebuking. So see if we can manage to tap our mana in a sane manner. So we can Glimpse the Core, get another land out of our deck, instill Doppelgang for 2. And then hopefully this gets us to Doppelgang X3 next turn. So Doppelgang X2, gotta be Invasion, and yeah, let's just make more Overlords. I was tempted to Hopeless Nightmare to get rid of the Kaya, but I don't know if I care about Kaya now. I don't think I care about Kaya now. Well, Overlords. And opponent, GG's, and Doppelgang! Every turn Doppelgang, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. We are doing some more Doppelganging, but infinite, well, sort of infinite. Every turn Doppelgang, let's go with that. That's probably the best way to describe this deck. This hand looks pretty fine. We got our our single main deck Doppelgang, which is nice, and some ramp, and we might be able to wrath the board eventually. Opponent, Demire. Well, Glimpse of Core is a pretty good draw on turn 2. Let's snag us a forest and pass turn. See what our opponent's up to. Opponent, Schwamp, and passes. Well, let's hope that our Map the Frontier resolves. Come on, no counter, no counter, no counter. Oh, they're going to counter. All right, that makes things worse. We wanted that mana. Phantom Interference, eh? Well, I guess better on the Ram spell than the Doppelgang. Unholy Annex. Awkward. Well, let's play the Blast Zone and pass. Uh-oh. What do we do against? I guess we can take up the Blast Preacher. All right. I mean, I guess we're definitely taking up Blast Zone to 3. Going down a land does hurt, but getting rid of a Preacher and Unholy Annex is kind of good. Yeah, let's just crack this Blast Zone right now. We're not going to let them attack with it anyway. And Arid Archway, pick up the forest, go. So we're up to what, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're still a minute away. Oh, come on now. Come on now. More Unholy Annexes. Opponent draws a card. At least they're missing land drops. Well, okay. Overlord is good. Overlord is good. Overlord is very good. So this means we can actually Doppelgang for 2 next turn. The question is what? Oh boy, Thundertrap Trainer. All right. I don't know if we can get away with... Can we get away with copying the Unholy Annex? We'd have to pay to unlock the rooms. Opponent finds a Sheoldred's Edict with a Thundertrap Trainer. Ooh, Invasion. Okay, well, that makes life relatively easy. So, now we can kind of Doppelgang whatever we want, because we're going to be able to Invasion it back anyway. Well, get in with the Overlord. Opponent, going to do a little blocking. Well, I think it's time to do a little Doppelganging. Actually, you know what? My first instinct is to copy Unholy Annex, but I don't know if I want to pay mana for it or die to the damage. Let's just go Overlord and... do we want to bounce land? Yeah, let's go Overlord bounce land. Make some everywheres. Pick up a couple of random basics. All right. Well, can you beat Overlord of the Hauntwood's drawn opponent? I feel like we might actually be in good shape at the moment. But opponent needs a Wrath at least, or something. Like they're... As their Beast Spine. I mean, they need something to not die this turn. Unholy Annex. Opponent gets to draw a card down to 9. Wow. Another Overlord. Well, let's chip in there. Make some lands. Opponent. Sheoldred's Edict. Gets rid of an Overlord. So they can block 1, go to 3. Actually, can... Well... Let's 1, 2, 3, tap all of our mana. Play the Invasion of Arcavios. Go to our graveyard, get back the Doppelgang. There's always more Overlords. Doppelgang X2, copy. Overlord, and Invasion of Arcavios. I think we could win just by tutoring up the World Souls Rage, but this is way more fun. It's way more fun to doppelgang. Bonus swap and deadly cover up. All right. Well, now maybe we just gonna win. Opponent. We didn't want to kill you, opponent. We wanted to just doppelgang a bunch of times, but wow. Our one of fun of virtue. Well, yeah, we have enough mana, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're just gonna finish it. So we can doppelgang. We'll just doppelgang for 1. Opponent's tapped out. This is guaranteed win. Go to our sideboard, snag our World Souls Rage, and World Soul, yeah, for 1. Too bad there's no gut shot in standard. Would have been a fun tutor up a gut shot win. All right, Demir. What do we want sideboard wise against this deck? The split up seems reasonable. Yeah, maybe a bit more removal. Do a little trimming. Right like that. All right, on to game number 2. So we are on the draw for game number 2. So that looks pretty wonderful. I mean, no finishers, but good lord, can we ramp? Good lord, well, okay, opponent going to duress us. Well, it's a pretty redundant hand. I guess plunking is the most unique of the cards. All right, opponent's gonna go for the cheapest card, Glimpse. Well, Lush Oasis. Go. Opponent, Soulstone Sanctuary. And there's a Beastbinder. Interesting to see Beastbinder. That's a card that it seems relatively good, but I haven't seen anyone play this card. Found it. Beast binds us. And, oh no, more duresses. All right. There goes the splunking. That's unfortunate. Well, Forest, go. Opponent. Land and hits us for 1. At least their clock is not especially fast. Man, there's another Unholy Annex. The Unholy Annex is a bit of a problem. That's a bit of a problem. Well, good news is we finally get to do some ramping. Arid Archway. If you ever draw a Map the Frontier and you decide to play this deck, almost every time with Map, you're looking for Arid Archway, kind of a pylons. Now let's mill the removal spell. Overlord's fine though. We'll keep the Overlord here. So now we need, Invasion really. Invasion of Arcavos. Stock up to find Invasion of Arcavos. Something like, ooh. Double Unholy. Okay, Invasion of Arcavos to find a way to blow up all the enchantments. That's what we'd really like. We get to play a Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Keep the ramp going and do a little surveilling. Yeah, mill the pylons. And pass the turn. So where do we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're up to 8. So we can theoretically do a little doppelgang, and if we find one, here comes the demon. Yeah, with 2 Unholy Annexes, we really can't let demons stay on the battlefield, and that Soulstone Sanctuary is gonna be an issue. I think we actually have to Wrath. We might as well attack, because we're gonna Wrath anyway. We don't get a land because of the Beastbinder, making us lose all abilities. Well, Day of Judgment, out of here, demon. And, yeah, Invasion of Zendikar. We're up to Doppelgang X3. Oh, that island. It's got to be intentional, right? It's got to be. Opponent, land. And makes another demon. All right. Well, we get drained down to 8. We need a top decker. We're actually dead this turn. We need a Doppelgang. Doppelgang, does that even do it? Doppelgang doesn't even do it. We need Invasion. Oh, or a R-rated island. That is not going to save us. Yeah, let's bring in the Pawpaw. Yeah, maybe we go back down the split up. Try like that. All right, on to game number 3. We're on the play. Can we take down, I guess, Dimir Demons? Dimir midrange? Dimir something. Oh, Leyline, interesting. It's funny, people tend to bring in Leyline against this deck, and it makes sense, because it does shut down the Doppelgang Invasion of Arcavos loop. Opponent. Worst duress ever. Duress is very good against us, just not this hand. Well, mail the island, and pass the turn. But yeah, a lot of people bring in Graveyard Hate, which makes some amount of sense, Thundertrap Trainer, because it shuts down the loop, right? You can't Invasion of Kavos, get it back from the Doppelgang back from the graveyard. Jace. Interesting. Well, Overlord of the Hauntwoods, do a little everywhereing and pass the turn. Are we going to get milled out? Bound it. Gets in. Hits us. Well, that's unfortunate. There goes our Invasion of Arcavios. I mean, the good news is we get to play an Overlord of the Hauntwoods, full price, so the rampant's still working. But yeah, we can win without our graveyard, even though, yes, the loop requires a graveyard. Just casting it, that Lane Liana could be an issue. We might need to Get Lost relatively soon. Bone it. Takes down. Plus, we do have Get Lost, so I can get rid of Leyline anyway. So we have main deck hate. Well, all right. Keep on ramping. Invasion of Zendikar. Gonna grab a plains and an island. And let's Arid Archway. Pick up the Conduit Pylons. Mill a beautiful plains. Unabend and go. Yeah, so we need to find an answer to Liliana at some point. Oh, Jace. All right. Let's see what they do with Jace. I imagine it's just Mill 15. That's probably their win con. Yeah, well, 15 cards down. Unfortunately. And opponent, another creature land. Ooh, they hit a lot of stuff we wanted. Oh. Wait, are we down 3 Invasion of Arcavoses? That's not ideal. All right. And, well, we're very good at fighting Arid Archways. Do not need a Lush Oasis. Well, unimpend. If our opponent has to... Okay, take down the Lily. So the Liliana got rid of 2 Overlords, but at least we don't have to worry about it ulting. Our opponent, no fear. I guess they have a pile of creature land, so you might as well. Well, we're going to get milled again. Nothing too good. Ooh, stock up is actually nice. That is a hit. That is a hit. Stock up into, well, more stock ups, and I guess an Overlord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, the downside of the Arid Archways. So we can't actually stock up and Overlord. Let's just full price an Overlord. Get down the Overlord, make it everywhere. Pick up the land, do a little survey. There's a Get Lost. Okay. That was on our list. That was on our list of approved draws. Now we needed to get rid of, man. All right. Well, there goes our Overlord. No land, please. No land, so they can't fire up their creature land. That's even worse. Okay. Jace. And there's not a... Oh, they ticked it up. My God. Okay. If our opponent take that down, I think we just lose. I don't think there's any way we're going to win. Oh, we needed something better than this, though. Conduit Pylons, I guess? So we got to kill the Jace, because we can't afford... Opponent's out of cards, so we're actually, like, oddly still in this game somehow. Overlord, full price. Make it everywhere. Play the Pylons. It is nice that we get to... Well, I gotta keep this plunking. It is nice that we get to surveil pretty much every turn once we get going. And blow up the Jays. Yeah, I'm so glad our opponent didn't take that down. Like, if they just take down and milled 15, it wouldn't have quite got our entire deck, but it would have put us low enough that, realistically, I don't think we could have won. About it. Here comes Risen Reef. Question is, do we block this? Opponent's gonna crack the map. They can only fire up 1 Risen Reef a turn, but I don't think we can race with this Overlord. The only problem is if we find Doppelgang, we kind of want the Overlord. Yeah, let's block it. Let's block it. We could draw, well, we needed our Invasion. Okay, Invasion of Arcavos. Well, let's see. If there was ever a card that was going to save us, it was literally Invasion of Arcavos. We're going to play it. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with it, though. Because we've been milled so much, Finale is not great. We can cast a Doppelgang. I think, oh man, how we are gonna have to win is by World Soul Raging. So we need to generate enough mana, because we only get this 1 Doppelgang. So we can Doppelgang X3, hit the Invasion, and what? Hit the Everywhere land, or Doppelgang X2 rather. I said 3. So we get 2 more lands, 2 invasions. Invasion. Sadly, there's no more Doppelgang to get back thanks to that Leyline. The Leyline actually kind of got us. So we get the World Soul's Rage, and what else is good at keeping us alive? I guess a negate. and play the conduit pylons. Pass the turn. So I don't think we can quite win next turn. We have, what, 17 mana? Oh, God, Jace. Well, good thing we got this negate. Counter the Jace. Do they actually have a negate, too? Oh, no. Phantom Inner. Oh, now we're dead. Exactly 15 cards. Man. Well, sometimes you draw 3 Jaces and get a free win. Do we keep the 6-lander? Probably not. We gotta need some ramp. All right. We will keep. Put a Wrath to the bottom. And start with the Lush Oasis. The Virtue's just a one of, but I feel like Virtue's the card that I think if we get it down can let us like sort of functionally infinite doppelgang in the same turn. Like we make enough mana that we can keep looping. Well, play the island. Do a little splunking. Oh, blue-white control. Don't counter our splunking opponent. We have plans for this. Oh boy, no more lies. All right. Well, buckle up, everyone. It's a control match. Opponent, demo field, and passing. We are not drawing the best cards for a control match. We've drawn 2 Wraths already, and we put another one to the bottom with our mulligan. Opponent. 3s. Well, we're eating a lot of counters. We're getting them out of our opponent's hand. One of the nice things about making so much mana, which hopefully we do eventually, is, well, I guess it's Overlord, is eventually we can pay for the No More Lies. Like, sooner or later, our opponent's going to need actual hard counters if they want to stop us. We got another one? Well, we're not getting off to a very fast start, but we've gotten 2-3 steps ahead out of our opponent's hand, so I think that's kind of a win. Also, getting the Overlord in the graveyard's not the worst, because we can adventure mode the Virtue to get it back and take another shot. Boy, we are a very not removal heavy deck, but we are drawing all of our removal against this control deck. Virtue is strength. Get back the Overlord. Unfortunately, because of this island, we can't cast it this turn. Wow. Opponent scared of the blast zone. All right, I mean, that's, I don't know. All right, sure. It's your blast zone, opponent. Little weird to thin your deck when you missed a land drop, but we will see. Maybe our opponent has a plan for the manas. Grabs an island, untaps. Did we draw land? Nope. All right. Bass with no lands. Well, we drew a land, and I mean, we might as well full price. Wow. Okay, we might have run them out. Might as well full price it since they can No More Lies, even if we cast it with Impen. I'm sure they can kill it. All right, opponent gonna get lost the Overlord. Well, we would not mind drawing Stock Up or Invasion of Arcabas. Opponent gonna deduce. Looking for a land, finding a land. Well, I guess we'll just keep drawing and playing Overlords. I guess that's also kind of fine. We want the mana. I wonder how much our opponent cares about the Virtuous Strength. I feel like that's a must counter, but I'll crack a map. Find an Archway. Play the Archway. And I think we actually are going to pick up Lush Oasis, even though it's tapped, just so we can surveil away that Glimpse of Gore. Pass turn. And, all right. Well, we're fighting the Overlord. Oh, boy, that's top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. I mean, we can mini Doppelgang. We can do major Doppelgang if we can resolve this Virtuous Strength. But it's only got 2 mana up. 1, 2, 3. I mean, we're not doing anything else. Yeah, let's Virtue. We'll leave up the Plains, which now makes 3 mana, so we can still cast the Get Lost if, I don't know what we're possibly going to target against the control deck. Maybe they got a Planeswalker or something. Ooh, Riptide, okay. Or a Riptide Gearhulk, for example. Well, I think we just kill it. We could let it live and doppelgang it, but I think this is fine. They don't really have anything to tuck anyway, so Riptide doesn't seem that great against them. Found it. Fast land. And passes. Well, there's a forest. I mean, we know the Virtue's coming. We're 1 short of doppelganging for 3, but our opponent's tapped down, so I think we probably doppelgang for 2, just to make some mana. Yeah, let's go Bounce Land, Crime Land. So, I mean, 8 mana ramp 4 is actually not that bad. And it's even better than that because we copy 2 bounce lands. So we can pick up the Lush Oasis, mill the island, and pick up I guess Plains, doesn't really matter. All right. Well, one of the things, if you run into a control deck, the most important thing against control is just getting ahead in mana. Because the way you beat control, another Riptide Gearhulk, the way you beat control with a deck like this is just by being able to, well, one, you can pay for their soft counters, but two, you can do multiple things in a turn, and that's how you get around counter spells, right? The easiest way to play around counter spells is, I think we just split up this Gearhulk. It is kind of scary with the double strike and prowess. And then Castle Garenbrig, get back a Overlord of the Hauntwoods. And then, do we want a Virtue? We don't really have anything to do with the mana anyway. Yeah, I think we still do it. We might as well do it. Leave a bunch of basics. Virtue of Strength. Well, lots of mana again. And yeah, I mean, Overlord. Run it out. Get it everywhere. Go. But if you can make enough mana, which we're doing, even if our opponent has a counter, we can hope. Boy, so many Riptide Gearhulks. Even if they have a counter, we can theoretically like use a bait spell, play so many good things in one turn that our opponent can't counter them all. So that's kind of the strategy here. Opponent's gonna crack some abs on this Riptide Gearhulk. We 3 steps ahead. All right, now we're definitely gonna just counter it. So now we're gonna see the counter spell versus lots of mana battle. Although 3 steps has a pretty easy counter spell to cast because you get to draw anyway. Stock up is great. Yeah, let's blow up the Gearhulk. Opponent, 3 steps ahead. Passes. Well, let's just play the Lush Oasis. We're not going to stock up. I think stock up, so next turn we know we're drawing Overlord. The card we care about resolving most is the stock up, because we want to stock up Divine Invasion of Arcavos to set up the loop. So I think we want to wait until we draw the Overlord. Play the Overlord. Our opponents really valued killing Overlord. They were spending full Ras to kill Overlord. So hopefully they just counter the Overlord. And then maybe we get to resolve the stock up and find something more important than another Overlord. It's funny, Overlord, if Overlord, like, I mean, it's nice that it has a body and stuff, but if it was Top Yuri Stomper or something, it wouldn't, like, we don't really care. It's just another 3 mana ram spell in our deck. Opponent is going to spend the 3 steps ahead. Does a little looting. Well, I mean, we have to tap down a bit. We also do a good job of getting, no, get lost. Why did it not let us, okay. Well, I guess it doesn't matter anyway. That's awkward. Would have been nice if we could have floated mana in response, but we didn't have anything that actually requires some mana anyway, so I guess it didn't actually matter in the end. Invasion of Zendikar. That was actually kind of a whiff of a stock up, honestly. Let's grab our last island, last plains. Always get the plains and islands first because of Glimpsagore. Opponents. Well, all right. Opponent's going to deduce, draw a card. Well, this is an interesting spot. Our opponent's not killing us very quickly. We have an infinite amount of mana, but we have nothing to... Oh, my God, that's a good one. All right. Invasion of Arcavos. No counters. Okay, no counter. I mean. Is it just the Doppelgang? Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wow. We have enough mana that we'd actually Finale of Revelation. And if I counted this correctly, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We can actually Finale for 10 and still have mana to pay for No More Lies. If this resolves and we get to draw 10 cards and untap 5 lands and... Oh my God, it's resolving. Okay, well... Life is suddenly very good. Life went from a little questionable to very good. Let's untap some of these lands that tap for 2 mana. Well, there's a bunch of stock ups and I guess a bunch of ramp. Yeah, let's do a little splunking. We can wait until next. I think this turn we'll just cast all of our ramp spells and just... We did shuffle all of our ramp back into our deck, so we're gonna have a lot of ramp spells in our deck. Another Get Lost. We were not very good at having things to do with map tokens. So I think this is just a develop our mana turn, which is kind of funny to say when we already, what did we, we got a 5 mana Invasion of Arcavos and a 12 mana Finale this turn, but you never have too much mana in this deck. The more mana, the better the DOP. Well, I think we might be able to just get literally every basic out of our deck. We might be able to do it, yeah. Grab the island, grab the forest, and yeah, I mean, glimpse the core. Forest, 2 left. Well, we've successfully thinned every basic out of our deck. There might be still a couple deserts floating around, but there should not be many lands left in our deck at this point. Grab the last forest, and go ahead, opponent. Well, with a thin deck and 2 stock ups in hand, wouldn't mind drawing like a negate or something, but we gotta be getting close to hitting the win the game card. Which is, I guess, either Doppelgang or another invasion of Arcavos, assuming our opponent does have a counter. Well, the one downside of tapping out is our opponent does get to get in with their creature land. Thankfully, we're at 20. Like, we're not under any pressure this game, but we don't really want our opponent to get maps, because that gives them a little filtering. Opponent, get a map up. The Restless Anchorage. Fine. So, I mean, yeah, you can't not keep to do... Oh, that's Invasion of Arcavos. Well, yeah, let's cast it. How do we feel about... Oh boy, okay. Are we gonna demo field in response? We're gonna take care of one of those bounce lands? Well, this time, we actually, we'll float all of our mana. I think it's time for a big Doppelgang. I think it might be time for a big Doppelgang. So, demo field. Sadly, this is a strip mine, although we have so much mana, we can withstand a strip mine here. Invasion of Arcavos. Snag us. Honestly, we probably could have went for the win here. I do not value... So the idea of the World Souls Revenge is after we have all of our Doppelgang shenanigans, then we can win the game. But yeah, let's just do a little Dopp in X5, which is going to be Crime Land, Invasion of Arcavos, Surveil Land, and you know what? Let's hit your silly desert, and we still can pay for for No More Lies. Oh, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. All right, we're up to 7 Invasion of Arcavos, 10 more Pain Lands. So opponent, down to 5, and we will get back our Doppelgang. I mean, we just win next turn, right? We get back the Doppelgang. Now we can tutor every counterspell from our sideboard. So negate number 1, and let's go. Ooh, time stop. But because we lazy tapped, we can't cast it. Negate and World Souls Rage, even though I don't think we're gonna need it. And opponent gonna take their beats. Glimpse the Gore to the graveyard. Oh, this feels so good. No max hand size, 7 Invasion of Arcavos, Doppelgang for infinity every turn. What more could you want in Standard? Seriously. What could be better? It is... Oh, man. I guess we could have tapped everything one by one, but queuing is so nice. Ideally, we'll just stock up. Might as well use our mana. Ideally, I guess with how this played out, what we would have kind of liked to do is manually tapped and left up mana for time stop to then time stop during our opponent's upkeep. Whether or not this actually, I mean, none of this actually really matters at this point. Like, wow, there's all of the overlords that got shuffled back in. I don't think there's any possible way our opponent survives next turn. Like, with us having this amount of mana and 2 negates and the World Souls Rage and the Doppelgang back in hand, we can kill our opponent in any number of ways. It is going to be our choice, dealer's choice on Death to Bass. Opponent. Stock up, very good card. Like, what's a card in Magic? Not even Standard, in Magic that our opponent could find here that would save them. I don't know. I'm not sure. All right. Restless Anchorage, get in there. I mean, we could blow it up, but I don't know. Let our poor control opponent get in a little damage. It might increase the odds of them sitting through our spectacular Doppelganging. Oh yeah, we're not even gonna kill it. We could. Another Invasion of Arcavos. Well, I guess it's probably finish him time. So we can make some red mana. And yeah. We'll be nice. QQ a little bit. World Souls Rage. We technically only need 4. Wow, we have so much mana. There's no tripling or doubling either. This is all good old-fashioned lands. How about a World Soul's Rage? 5? The face? Double negate back up? 30 mana floating with the biggest doppelgang ever in hand? Opponent. No. No more no more lies into 30 floating mana. They're not quite where, man, I mean, that actually worked out exactly like we were talking about, where we made so much mana, it looked like our opponent actually had the no more lies in hand. We just managed to play around. We were casting Doppelgangs X5 and playing around no more lies. Like, we had so much mana. I don't know if we changed much of anything. Like, the negates come in, and then we can go down Wraths. Although they got all those Riptides, so I don't even know if we want to go down every Wrath. Maybe just, yeah, hopefully they get, I mean, I guess the other thing is we can just doppelgang the Gearhawks to tuck them, so maybe we don't actually care. Plus, remember, we can get the Wrath from our sideboard if we need to. All right, on to game number 2. Blue-White Control versus the best doppelgang deck yet. In this hand, we're going to try it. We got a Glimpse, which we really want to resolve because we only have 2 lands. But as long as this Glimpse resolves, well, not a land. Well, Glimpse is the hardest spell to counter. Like, they don't know that our hand is not full of lands. The problem is they are definitely going to try to counter the Overlord because our opponent has spent most of this match fighting Overlords. It seems like they very, very, very highly value keeping Overlord off, which makes sense. It's a strong card, but wow, opponent's just going to stock up. All right, we would really love to draw land this turn. Land for Invasion of Zendikar would be the best. The sad thing about... another Invasion of Zendikar. The sad thing about casting something like Overlord of the Hauntwoods, why you miss a land drop is... technically, we didn't ramp. We just made up for the land drop that we missed anyway. Like, if you don't get your land drop for the turn, your ramp actually doesn't do anything. Yeah, found it. Gonna get lost. The Overlord. We know this opponent, Bass, not a fan of the Overlords. All right, rest in peace. So that does kind of shuts down the loop. But it also opens the way for Map the Frontier, which is great here, because not only do we get 2 lands, we get to get a bounce land, so it's kind of like we're getting 3 lands since we've been missing land drops. Do we want another bounce land? Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Just like game 1, the more mana, the better, right? Like, the best way to get around all this disruption is just make as much mana as possible. Found it. Well, that bounce land might be a juicy demo field target. I guess it's not the end of the world if they shuffle away our other Arid Archway. All right, sure. I mean, normally getting a bounce land hit by a demo field is painful, but at least we get to get this beautiful island. But really, we have so much mana that it doesn't actually really hurt us too much. This deck just makes so much. We missed a land drop and like got our bounce land demo field, and it still just doesn't matter. Well, there's a Conduit Pylon. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So it's awkward to play this Scry land before Invasion of Zendikar, but I really want that Splunking. But I think we have to play it first because of no more lies. Now that we have Splunking on top, I think we just Overlord so we don't have to shuffle. All right, change the equation. Sure. I'm sure our opponent had a lot of sideboard cards to bring in because, yeah, now that our opponent stepped down, I don't think we can give up ramping 2 lands. It's a bummer to shuffle away the Splunking, but getting 2 lands here is even better. And we have the Invasion in hand already. Opponent, another demo field, and passes. Well, there's another Arid Archway. And let's run out the Invasion. The other thing about playing all these ramp spells is at some point your opponent just gives up and they're like, well, they got so much mana already. Does it really matter if I counter the 3rd Invasion of Zendikar or whatever? And the answer is, actually, it kind of still does in this deck. But I mean, if you had to make a choice, you'd rather counter the Doppelgang. Let's glimpse the core. Grab a forest. We're gotta be getting close to the end of our basics. We may have like 4 left? 5 left. All right. Grab a forest. And play the Arid Archway. I'm gonna blow up that Arid opponent. Wow, hang out. Opponent really doesn't want our bounce lands. Sure. I mean, they are good, especially if I have Splunking and Doppelgang. Oh, I missed that one. All right. We have 4 basics left in our deck. The funny thing is, they activated their demo field so quick that we actually get value out of the Surveil, which we wouldn't have really if they had waited a minute. Well, pick up and, yeah. We know our opponent just sees red when there's an Overlord, so even though the Overlord's not that insane here, I think it's really nice bait for resolving this invasion of Arcavos, just because Bass has really shown that they don't want an Overlord to stick. So I bet if we play the Overlord, they probably, they could make a shuffle. All right, opponent's not going to make a shuffle. Yeah, I mean, I bet this Overlord. So what really matters is resolving invasion of Arcavos. That's what really matters. Mill the forest. But this Overlord might let us actually resolve it, because we can play the Overlord. See if our opponent uses a counter on it. If they let it go, then we can try to, all right, 3 steps ahead. Sure. Overlord down. Opponent draws and discards. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have enough mana that I think we just invasion of Arcavos. I think it's worth it. Maybe. We can pay for a No More Lies. They could have negate now that we've sideboarded, or who knows what else. All right, invasion of Arcavos down. Now question 2. What do we want? What do we want? I mean, the Doppelgang's a big payoff, of course. We could take a negate. That seems bad. I think it's either Doppelganger or Finale. If we can resolve either one of those next turn. But if they have a... Yeah, let's take Finale. I feel like if we can resolve Finale, it'll find us more invasion of Arcavoses, and we'll find the Doppelgang anyway. The question is going to be, can we resolve it? The other thing we can do, and we probably will do, our opponent doesn't seem to have a lot of targets for Get Lost. So I think we're going to Get Lost the Rest in Peace on our opponent's end step and see if we can maybe get a counter out of their hand. We wouldn't mind our opponent tapping some mana. Like, this Finale, if we can resolve this Finale for a bunch of mana, it is going to win us the game. Opponent, main phase to deuce, okay. Not a sign of strength. The deuce main phase usually means you're kind of desperate. Opponent does have 5 cards in hand. All right, stock up. Only 2 mana up. Okay, well, we're gonna throw the Get Lost at the rip. See if our opponent bites. They know about the Finale. I mean, it puts them in a tough spot, at least, where they have to choose either give up the Rest in Peace and then open yourselves up to the loop, or let us resolve Finale and then they loop. I don't know how you win if we draw a Finale amount of cards here. Well, Get Lost the rip. About it. Do you care about the Rest in Peace? Wow. All right. Well, it's party time. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. Well, we're just going to Finale for all of the cards. We're just gonna Finale them all, and we will untap a few lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and no max hand side is as well. And yeah, while our opponents tap down, I guess we just get the invasion of Arcavos and take the Doppelgang and play the Pylons. Oh, Paw Patch can actually get rid of the Rest in Peace anyway. All right, well, I'm feeling good about where we're at. It turns out resolving a Finale Revelation X13 is pretty good. It's not bad. Opponent passes. Well, let's play the demo field. Get down our Blast Zone, rather. Get down this Doppelgang. This might just be another setup turn. Like, there's really no big rush. We want to find negates. We have 1. It would be nice to find the second negate. Yeah, let's Glimpse the Core. I guess there's no real pressure to try to cast the biggest Doppelgang ever this turn. Grab the Forest. Let's map the Frontier. Yeah, we'll just get all the lands out of our deck and try to set up for next turn, I think. Grab the Aired Archway. Actually, maybe we should just get 2 Pain Deserts. That probably makes more sense. That might actually be our win con here. Burn you. Down 18. And... we have so much mana. Invasion, I guess. Might as well. Oh, this deck. Oh, man, do I love Doppelgang. I just need to figure out a way. All right, opponent's got the 3 steps ahead. We're not even going to... whatever. We're not even going to spend a negate on it. We want to save the negate for protecting the Doppelgang. I need to find a way to combine Doppelgang and Monument to Endurance. And maybe Panharmonicon. And a little Blood Moon. The ultimate Magic deck. But I wonder if there's a way to make Doppelgang Monument work in Standard. That might be next. Next on my list. Opponent. cracking the clue. Sure. Certainly, Bass. I don't know how they stop us from here, really. I guess some sort of like, if they have a bunch of Jaces, we haven't really seen a win con. We saw maybe Riptide is a win con. I was thinking that was a removal spell. Opponent's passing. Well, I mean, yeah. Do a little paw patching on the rest in peace. We don't even really need, wow, deduce, okay. We don't even really need the graveyard active for this. Like, I think we can just win. We can just cast a big Doppelgang to ramp a ton, copy the Pain Deserts, and the Tishana's, that doesn't work the way you want. Tishana's Tidebinder. Maybe they just want a body on the battlefield, but it does not counter a spell. Only abilities. And wow, opponent, they might have just given up on life. Cracks the clue. I mean, opponent's only got 2 mana up. With this negate in hand, we are kind of guaranteed to be able to do what we want next turn. And what we want is pretty sweet. All right, rest in peace down. It might be time to cast a big Doppelgang. We might be casting a pretty big Doppelgang. So, how much mana do we have? Oh, God. 11, 15, 19? So, we definitely Dop X4. Yeah, let's Doppelgang X4. And remember, all of our lands come into play on tap because of Splunking. So, we can hit the Invasion of Arcavios, hit the island. So now we will tutor basically our entire sideboard into our hand. We have done it. We have actually reached the point where we can tutor our entire sideboard. Doppelgang back to hand. Sideboard. Actually, I guess we'll take the paw patch too. Might as well. Sideboard. We will take. How about a time stop? And how about River's Rebuke in case you play something, and maybe Fade from History if you play an enchantment, and Cease to Desist. You can't let that graveyard pop off. And maybe a World Soul's Rage in case we want to kill you. And they have a creature, so let's get the Wrath. Now we'll just do a little stocking up since we have some extra mana floating. We happen to have 8 untapped blue mana, which means we can just go to our opponent's turn and stop time and untap and actually put an end to this. This has worked spectacularly. Well, yeah, take this Blonking. Take an Invasion of Arcavos. Paw Patch formation. We got extra mana. Might as well cycle it. I mean, this game, it's over. It is over. Our opponent might not know 100% it's over, and there's the second negate. All right, well, we will pass the turn. Stop on your upkeep. I'm pretty glad they put Time Stop back in Standard. It's been a fun card to have around. Opponent, oh no, are we getting salty? Nope, all right, well, Time Stop. I would like to end your turn, opponent. How do we feel about that, Bass? And, well, all right, that works. Well, we will untap, and, our opponent stuck it out this long. 1, 2... 3, 4, 5. Actually, we need to leave that up. 5, 6, 7. So let's play the Virtuous Strength, just because we don't technically have enough mana yet. Now we need to make a red mana, and now we can QQ. See, be still my heart. We got like 60. Man, we could cast such a big Doppelgang. We could actually probably crash Arena with a Doppelgang right now. Instead, we will be nice and we will just throw a 18-ish damage at your face with a World Soul's Rage. And that's what happens when you Doppelgang every turn. Good stuff. Good stuff happens. Sorry, Bass, but yeah, what a deck. So what do we learn this week about Invasion of the Doppelgangs? And record-wise, unfortunately, because of an arena update, my tracker wasn't actually working when I recorded this, but we went 5-2 with the deck, so I guess you just have to trust me on that one. But the deck actually works surprisingly well. We didn't play against much aggro, which is probably good, because I don't know if we ever beat like mono red, but against any sort of mid-range control domain style deck, this deck is actually ridiculously strong, because we just go over to the top of them. More importantly, we got to to cast some of the best Doppelgangs of all time. So honestly, I didn't come up with this synergy myself. I actually played against someone on the arena ladder that was playing Doppelgang with Invasion of Arcavios and doing the weird loop where you keep copying to get it back and do it again. And I was like, okay, I gotta try to build a deck like this because it just looks so cool. And it really worked. We had games where we literally tutored our entire sideboard, or very close to our entire sideboard, into our hand. We won with World Soul Race. We got ridiculous time stop wins. I think Invasion of Arcavios might actually just be kind of a sleeper that's better than people give it credit for, because the flexibility is absolutely huge. It gets card draw, it gets removal, it can deal with pretty much anything. And I just love this deck. If you like making lots of mana and like just doing big, ridiculous, crazy things, I'm kind of addicted to Doppelgang, and Doppelgang is one of the best ways in all of Magic to get that done. So that is Invasion of the Doppelgangs. That's our Against the Odds for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.